Welcome in. We're going to be picking every team from every division, picking every single game, so predicting all the records. And we're going to go ahead and kick this series off with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, for the Ravens, they've had some good seasons in the past. Regular seasons seem to be their thing. They do drop a game that they shouldn't here and there, but overall, they're a very good regular season team. And they will kick this one off in Buffalo, where I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm going to go ahead and give Buffalo that one in a very close Sunday night football game to start off this season. I'm very excited about that game. I think there's a lot of potential to be a very fun game, and I really think it could go either way, but I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the home team, Buffalo, in this week 2. They're playing home against Cleveland. I don't think there should be any trouble. Go ahead and give me the Ravens to win that one. And then we turn our attention to Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. What a game this will be. This is a Super Bowl that a lot of people thought would happen the last couple of years. It seemed like these two teams would eventually meet in the Super Bowl, and they have yet to. Neither of them have made it, actually. But I think it's going to be a great game, and I think ultimately the Ravens are going to win this one. I think they're built better in that type of matchup, and Lamar does seem to feast against these NFC teams. And then they follow that up with another big game on the road against Kansas City, a place where they lost just by a toe last season in week 1. And I think they flipped the script this time. I think they get the better of them. The Chiefs are bound to lose a few more games in this regular season than they had last season. So that puts the Ravens at 3-1, where they will then host the Houston Texans. Texans have not been able to take down the Ravens. Ravens have had their way against them, it seems. So give me the Ravens to go 4-1 with a win over the Texans. This is a good one here. It's weird this game is a 1 o'clock Eastern time slot because Rams and Ravens should be a great game. Remember the last time they played, it was an overtime thriller, but give me the same result in this one. Give me the Ravens to win. Rams are going to be a very, very good team, but Lamar plays great against these NFC teams, and they're at home. West Coast team playing at 10 o'clock their body clock times. I just think that's a tough recipe for the Rams, so Ravens win that one. And then you have their bye week, and then they're at Chicago, home against Chicago. So that's 3 straight home games for the Ravens. And I think Chicago is going to be much better this year, and I think they're going to win a lot more games than they did last year, but they're not going to win on the road in Baltimore, in my opinion. So go ahead and give me the Ravens there. And then Baltimore will head on the road to Miami, where who knows what shape the Dolphins will be in by midseason here. And either way, the Ravens are the better team, so go ahead and give me them. Ravens move to 7-1 on this season. So this would be a very exceptional start, with their only loss being in week 1. And now they'd be on the road against a J.J. McCarthy-led Minnesota Vikings, who I think have a very sneaky good roster, and I think they're going to surprise people. I think Ravens could be a sleeper game on the road, early game, and I think the Vikings get them in the Dome to give the Ravens their second loss of the year, but then the Ravens come home against the Browns, get a win, and kind of right the ship a bit, and then they were at Cleveland, now they're home against New York, where they also get a win. Those are 2 fairly easy games. Shouldn't have too much trouble with either of those to right the ship. And that then moves them to 9-2 on the season. Still a great record, where they will host the Cincinnati Bengals on Thanksgiving. What a game this will be. I'm excited. It was a great Thursday night game. Cincinnati at Baltimore last season. Baltimore stuck away with the win at the end, and I think they do the same here. Go ahead and give me the Ravens to win this one. And then moving on to the next week, Ravens will host the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers should be starting still at this point, if something doesn't go wrong. However, I do think the Ravens hold serve on home field and get yet another win in this campaign. So looking very good. Honestly, at this point, if you're the Ravens, they're probably looking to lock up a 1 seed. But a tough one coming up on the road in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati played them very well last year. Both games came down to the wire, and I'm going to go ahead and take Cincinnati to take this one. I think they split the season series. So that gives Baltimore its 3rd loss of the season with only 3 games to go. Still a great record so far. And then they will host the up-and-coming, a lot of hype about them, the New England Patriots. But in Baltimore late in the season, I don't have faith in the Patriots to come in to Baltimore and get it done. So go ahead and give me the Ravens in that one. And then Baltimore hit the road for their last 2 games of the season, the first of which will be in Green Bay, another NFC opponent. And I think I'm a little lower on Green Bay this year than I was last year. So go ahead and give me the Ravens to win this one. And then closing out the season, Ravens are 13-3 at Pittsburgh. And a couple factors in this one. I'm going to go ahead and take Pittsburgh. I'll tell you that right now. First off, Baltimore might not be playing for anything. They either could have A, locked up the 1 seed, or B, be out of reach of the 1 seed, if someone had only 2 losses on the year or something. And even if they are playing for something, Pittsburgh, if they stay healthy, Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, they start clicking, it's in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh will likely be right around that borderline playoff mark, so odds are they could be fighting for their lives. So I think Pittsburgh is going to take that one, which ultimately leaves the Ravens with a 13-4 record on the season, which I think sounds about right. Maybe a bit high because the Ravens are known to drop a game or two that they really shouldn't. And I know I have them losing in Minnesota and in Pittsburgh. You could consider those some games they shouldn't lose. However, those aren't bad teams by any stretch. Minnesota has a phenomenal roster, just a question mark at QB. And Pittsburgh is very well coached and a decently well-rounded roster, a slightly above average, I would say. So, there could be another game or two that they drop. In the recent years, I remember them losing, to the Raiders, to the Browns, to the Colts. There's always that one weird game that seems to catch them off guard. So definitely can't rule that out. So thinking 12-5 could be more likely, but this prediction has them at 13-4, another great season for the Ravens. But they're tired of great regular seasons. The big question is, can they get over the hump and make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? We'll have to see. They're going to have to prove they can get it done in the playoffs, but winning in the regular season is always the first step to doing that. Let me know what y'all think about this prediction, and let me know what record you would have them at.